Hi, my name is Scott Nowak. I'm a professor of biology and I'm also the Associate Vice President for Research at Kennesaw State University. I run a research lab studying myogenesis, specifically skeletal and cardiomyogenesis, the development, patterning, and establishment of the mesodermal derivatives that give rise to the skeletal muscles as well as the muscles of the heart.
Hi, I'm Peter and I'm Scott Nowak's son. I'm 9 and I want to be an engineer when I grow up.
So my research is looking at the genetics behind the establishment and patterning of the skeletal and cardiac musculature in a given organism. We use Drosophila melanogaster, which is also known as the fruit fly, and we study how these myoblasts are established, how they arise, how they get together, they build and pattern the overall skeletal and cardiac muscular architecture.
Okay. Could you say that in stuff that I would say?
Stuff you would say?
Yes.
Okay, so the lab studies how the building blocks of muscle are brought together and how you can actually build a muscle, and we use a fruit fly as our model critter. And it's the same types of muscles that we have in our arms or in our heart, but we can study them using a fruit fly. And I study how the building blocks are first built and how those building blocks are put together to make a muscle.
What got you into studying that type of stuff?
Well, I've always been interested in how an organism is built and how it's put together. So we all start out from one single cell. That cell makes lots of more cells, and then that big ball of cells somehow turns itself into us. And I've always been interested in some of the tissues like muscle, because muscle's kind of cool. It's one of the few tissues we have that can regenerate itself. And I got interested in how do we actually get the muscles, how do we build them in the first place, how do we establish them, how do they get their size and their shape. We have all these muscles in our body, but they all have different shapes and different sizes. Why do they get their different sizes and shapes?
So while you're doing this research, are there students in there?
Yep. I have a number of undergraduate students, and I have had graduate students, and I'm in the middle of recruiting a couple of graduate students to work in the lab. And all the work is done primarily by undergraduates in the lab, so college students.
Oh, that's very interesting. Mm-hmm. We have just finished talking about my dad's research. It was really very interesting, and I learned a lot. Thank you for joining us.